All right, so everybody's heard of the Bricks and Minifigs, Star Wars Lego Saga with Reckless Ben and all that other bullshit, right? This is gonna be the Coffeezilla video. I'm gonna react to it, see what the hell he undug, because I know Coffeezilla, he's kind of like the YouTube FBI. Like this type of content, please like, comment, subscribe, and let's just go. Okay, Coffee, what do we got?
A $200,000 Lego collection went missing, causing a lot of you to ask me to find it. And after
Already, everybody asked him.
seeing the cops point guns at YouTubers, people get arrested and sued for $1.3 million, I decided enough was enough.
Wait, Reckless Ben's getting sued for $1.3 million? Please destroy Bricks and Minifigs. That was ridiculous. That was a lot of firepower just for, hey, we're here for Legos. You really need an AR-15? Okay.
This looks like a case for the internet detective. This
Oh, he
time
says
in the
a
$10
Lego?
million Lego studio. So I
Here we
talked to
go.
every suspect involved. What I found shocked me.
I love this. This is a great introduction. This is awesome. Him and his little robot buddy. I love it. This is a cool... No wonder it took him so long. This is a cool introduction.
Okay, before we can find these missing Legos, let's give some background. A massive Star Wars collection was put on consignment at a Lego store called Bricks and Minifigs in Salem, Oregon. Consignment just means the owner, Brian Mansell, gave it to a store to sell, and he was supposed to get a cut when it sold. The entire time, he maintained ownership of the collection, and a social media post estimated it to be worth about $200,000. But then, on November 14th, 2024, everything went wrong. This was the night that Crystal and Ben Gorman, the prior franchise owners of the Salem store, got kicked out by this guy. That is Brandon Best. He and his partner, Josh Johnson, ran a sister store in Eugene, Oregon. And Brandon drove up that night to kick the Gormans out. Brandon and Josh would be taking over the franchise in Salem. And this is the exact moment the Legos go missing. As that store is getting handed over, the question is Brian's collection in it? Here's what the official Bricks and Minifigs press release reads. Quote, after taking over the store, we discovered a small number of sets valued between
$2,000 to $5,000. Come on. That's some fishy ass shit. Now, I just want to say this too, okay? I've heard people say that the Star Wars collection wasn't worth 200 grand. If you go to a store, when you're reselling something, they have the Kelly Blue Book. They look at it and they say, for us, it's worth $1,000 if they resell it. But they're not going to give the person trying to sell it to them the full amount. They usually give them about 40 to 50% if you're lucky. Some stores, if you have a good relationship with them, they give you 60% of what it's worth. So if it's worth $1,000, they'll offer $450 or maybe $500. So with a consignment, you can get a little bit more than you would if you just sold it to them. So with collectibles, it goes up and down too. It's possible for the store it was worth $200,000, but for Brian, the guy selling them to the store, could have been half.
$1,000 that could be possibly related to Mr. Mansell's collection. But there's a problem here. There should be over 10 times that amount in this store, given their internal records and what we know the estimated value of this collection was. So if corporate's saying there was only $2,000 to $5,000 in the store, something happened to these Legos.
Definitely.
But what? In order to solve this case,
Somebody stole
let's
them.
think about
Somebody took
the
them.
suspects. First, who was there that night of the handover? It's only 3 people. Crystal and Ben Gorman, the former franchise owners, and Brandon Best, one of the new owners.
I love how he does this. He's got, instead of having just their photos or them in real life, he's got them as a Lego and then their name, right? And then a weird looking photo behind them. Plus it has a really cool aesthetic.
Our 3 biggest suspects, but they aren't the only ones. I want to address a few other suspects at the very start here. First of all, maybe this is just all the result of, plain old thieves breaking in. What about that possibility?
Hi, I am Chris. I was the previous franchise owner who signed the collection agreement with Brian Mansell.
And I'm Benjamin Gorman. I am the silent partner who's really bad at being silent.
We did have a couple of break-ins at the store. None of Brian's collections were in the police report or stolen during those.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, in that footage that they had, there was one camera on the very bottom that looked like the glasses busted out, and I thought maybe somebody broke in, took some of the shit.
If that's the case, what about the guy who was arrested? I mentioned at the beginning of this video, Reckless Ben. This is the YouTuber who started it all with a documentary I tracked.
How would he even get it? I mean, I like the fact that Coffee is very thorough. He goes through every rock, no rock left unturned. So he's going to take all the people that would be suspects, right? Even the ones that aren't really considered.
Down the thief who stole $200,000 of Lego. Maybe it's the perfect crime. Make a video tracking yourself. Now, for our theory, it's worth noting Ben is currently facing a RICO lawsuit by Bricks and Minifigs. He was even targeted with a search warrant for stolen Legos.
This guy, I love when Charlie's like, yo, what the hell is he saying? I can't hear a thing he's saying.
Reported overhearing conversations about possible stolen Legos.
I seen somebody talking about this video and they were like, he's talking so quiet so people fall asleep when they look at it. It's hard to watch that video.
And on top of that, Reckless Ben was even accused of stealing the Legos by the current franchise owner.
What do you think of the theory that it was Reckless Ben? He stole the Legos.
It's absurd. We didn't even know Reckless Ben. He had no interaction, no relation.
That's what I'm thinking.
To us, no relation to the store. That doesn't hold any water.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Apologies to the genius cops in Utah who play different.
We play differently here.
But I don't believe that Reckless Ben stole the Lego, mostly because he couldn't. He just wasn't there that night, and I don't even think he knew about these Legos. But who does Ben suspect is holding the Legos since he did this whole documentary series?
This guy literally was like telling the cops, oh, we got to get as many charges as possible. We get digital stalking. We get, and digital stalking and stalking in person in real life physically is the same, even though cyber stalking and that's what he was talking about. Cyber stalking and stalking in real life are completely different. Yeah, they're similar, but they're different. And he's like, oh, well, this fucking guy. And some of the other shit he was trying to say, the trespassing. And yeah, okay, that one store he was told a bunch of times to get out. And I think they're able to call the cops. And if they don't want you there, they have the right to kick you out of the store, right? But there was so much bullshit going on with that.
McNeff, he personally came out to talk to us.
So what's going on?
So you guys are holding some of our Legos?
No, we're not.
The stuttering idiot.
You're not?
No.
No.
Is that a lie?
No.
That's a lie. You did take the Legos.
No. We have
so funny.
our attorneys have visited. So who's
Brian Mansell.
Okay.
He's like, our attorneys again. What? Who are you talking about? If you don't know who he's talking about, why are you talking about our attorneys? I already looked into it. You see how nervous he got? He got more nervous than I get.
And who is that?
He's a guy who had he had like $200,000 worth of Legos near the store.
That look on his face, it says it all. He's like this. No, don't know who that is. But then again, I think probably done this to other people. What I mean by that is I don't want to say their names because I don't want to get any shit. Me personally, because I know of a pawn shop in an area that I lived in that had franchises, and what they would do is they would give crackheads and other people lists. Go steal like those teeth whitener strip things like that, and they would sell those like on eBay or Amazon and shit. And they'd barely give any money for it, but they'd get a ton of money back. But they got arrested. All those franchises got shut down. There's a big investigation. This is what these guys remind me of. So I wouldn't doubt if this has happened before, where they just literally took some shit that was in a store, took it over, and we're like, we don't know what you're talking about. Move on. You're annoying us. We're going to trespass you.
My name is Ammon McNeff. I am the CEO of the Bricks and Minifigs brand.
So my name's Matt McNeff. I'm the
They're
CEO
brothers?
of Bricks Minifigs.
The people you just saw are the McNeff brothers.
They're fucking brothers. There's brothers that are Sorry, Coffee.
Agreed to speak with me to try to clear their name. I asked them, do they have the Legos?
What I can tell you is that we
That's not an
don't
answer.
have it. We've never had access to them.
It seems to kind of go
See, that's not an answer. Do you have the Legos? Well, it seems to me.
missing. Parts of it
That's
seem
what
to go
politicians
missing
do.
on November 14th.
Well, and I guess no, not at all.
He starts, and then he stops, and then he starts. Like, I guess, no, not at all.
I'm gonna say, like that is not accurate at all. Because
So you think that the collection was in the store at the time or elsewhere?
Elsewhere. When you look at Mansell's own words that he reiterated to a podcast last year, he explicitly stated to another podcaster the sets were moved off-site for security.
The collection will not be stored on site after hours for security reasons, and after Sunday, the sets will be available for purchase but stored elsewhere.
Now, one thing that's been a big subject of the Bricks and Minifigs kind of story is, hey, there are these off-site locations. Can you address what that is? Is that true?
So the off-site location in the letter that that corporate is referring to is the original press release that we released when we were launching the collection. In that press release, because we had previous break-ins, I specifically included the location that after this weekend, those Legos would be stored off-site to deter any future thefts. They were briefly stored off-site after that launch weekend while I bought safes for the back room, and then they were moved back into the store.
Okay, so for most of the time, the sets were in the store after y'all got the safes in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, she actually answered the question. The other guys were like hemming and hawing and talking around it. Well, seems to me that what I think is, and then they
So
just
Ammon McNeff
give him
suspects
straight
that
up
a
answer.
lot of the Legos weren't there that night. And then on the other hand, we just heard from Crystal and Ben Gorman explaining the off-site story, saying that later they no longer used those off-site locations. But what do we really know about the Gormans? They are the former franchise owners after all. I mean, shouldn't we be suspicious of everyone? They're one of our key suspects. They were there the night we lost Brian's collection. They were the creators of the consignment deal after all. And one group in particular is pointing their finger at them very hard. It's the McNeffs who say they were behind on payments.
We started getting calls from the landlord letting us know that Crystal was behind on the lease payments at the location. We had also gotten a couple of notices from some of our vendor partners that bills had not been paid by the store. And so we felt pretty strongly that there was going to be a risk of her just, like attempting to file bankruptcy, doing some of these other types of things, which we've had franchisees do in the past, and that's problematic. So that's why we sent him up there to take some video footage. So we needed to just be prepared if we...
Video footage? He just kicked their ass out. They took video footage. I mean, it did look like somebody was taking things out of the store because there's a bunch of shit that got moved around. So if they're like, well, this is my whole thing, okay? The woman that was running the store called them and said, hey, in a couple of months or whatever, we're going to be going, we got to go overseas because my husband's going to be working. So if you have somebody, and then they had somebody lined up, and the guy was just supposed to go there to look at the store. He wasn't supposed to go there and kick him out because it was like news to her, like, we're kicking you out. So what the fuck? Who do you believe,
We
right?
need to do a hostile takeover, which, can happen in franchising where a franchise owner just, kind of tries to steal inventory and do some different things that way.
Okay, so Bricks and Minifig's story is that they were worried about the Gormans skipping town, so they sent Brandon Best as a secret shopper on October 24th, 2024.
Secret
This is weeks
shopper.
before the takeover. Brandon takes a video of the store condition in preparation for this handover, but at this point, Brandon does not announce himself to Crystal Gorman. Later, though, on November 14th, once again, the same concern about the Gormans stealing or theft was expressed by the McNeffs.
Brandon was trying to make sure that they weren't taking things from the store, and so he was kind of trying to make sure that he wasn't putting things, like hiding things in the back, and that and while he was watching that.
See, okay, there's a lot of stuff that looks like it, like the bowl. Maybe they were just letting the stock and whatnot run down, or they just had a busy week or something. It looks like shelving and stuff has, maybe there's more stuff there than I realized. It just seems like, okay, when the guy went there, he probably seen all the, because Star Wars is hot. It really is. Old sets, they only made so many and then they never made them again, like Legos. So that shit gets expensive. And he probably went in there and was like, hey, they got a lot of expensive shit in there we could just take. That's my opinion. My opinion.
Make sure Ben wasn't grabbing stuff from the store and moving or doing anything along those lines.
He looks like he's just like, yeah, you get out of here. And she looks kind of upset, like she didn't expect it.
Because he just got a weird feeling about the whole transition.
She took at least one, if not more than one, cartfuls of things out to her car with her coat draped over it.
So yeah, the McNeffs say, look, they don't trust the Gormans. And they explained it, even further. They said, hey, there's some issues in her past.
She apparently has a retail theft and other criminal arrests on her record.
Oh, really?
That we were not aware of.
When was that?
I don't know. This has been brought out.
Wait. Okay, she's got criminal arrest, probably a felony, according to this guy, and he doesn't know. He doesn't know when it happened. He has no idea. I don't know. Well, then why are you talking about it if you don't know?
By several people online now.
Now look, that's a huge accusation to bring up, and so obviously I wanted to talk to the Gormans about it.
They're like, she has a history of some type of burglary, theft.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah, that's what they're
saying.
Yeah.
Oh. Nope. Well, yes.
Well,
you know about this.
Explain.
Yeah, when I was 19 years old.
How long ago is that?
I am 45 now. So this was in 1999. This, something that happened 25 years ago, has no reflection and no bearing on what happened in the last 2 years, my management of the store, what happened the night corporate seized the store. It is another deflection. And it infuriates me. You're gonna try to publicly embarrass and shame me for somebody that was manipulated by local police departments when she was pregnant and 19 years old? F you. That's my response to that. I am so sorry. You're gonna have to blur and cut a lot of this, but that pisses me off. I own what I have done.
First of all, they got a cute dog behind them. To say, oh, she's got a criminal history, a criminal past, and it's like, she was 19, stole once, according to her. Would she say she's 45? So it's like 26 years later?
The mistakes that I have made, you cannot intimidate and bully me into backing down when I know that legally and morally I am in the right and I have the evidence to back it up.
Wow. This is getting kind of nasty and personal at this point, and I just wanted to give people kind of their side. But at every turn, I hope you understand, I'm getting contradictory stories, down to if the McNeffs knew about her history in the first place.
Like, they're bringing up something that I told them about.
Wait, you told them?
Told them.
Of course.
They asked me.
They said they had no idea. They said if we knew, we would have never hired her.
Because we would not have hired her had we known this.
This guy is a
I told
liar.
them I had a record from when I was 18. There was a family issue and didn't go into all of the details, but they were like, that's so long ago, we're gonna hire you based on who you are now.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave it there. You guys can make up your own mind. My point is, one side says up, the other says down, and it gets to the point both sides start hinting that they have photographic proof from the night of November 14th that proves the other side is lying. And so I'm like, look, at this point, let's stop talking. Show me the Legos.
Now, here's the thing. The Gormans. God, I get these fucking people's names all mixed up. Terrible to remember names. But the woman that had the franchise, she said that they had video evidence and everything, but also they have a court case against the CEO and his brother. Let's see what happens here.
Where I was told we are 100% have possession of photos that prove that the Gormans are lying. And then you guys are telling me we 100% have possession of photos that prove this side's lying. Who's gonna drop the photos first? I mean, I feel like someone just has to, somebody's right here.
And after a lot of convincing, both sides agreed to show me the photos, corporate and the Gormans. In fact, I scheduled the calls to do this an hour apart from each other. But let's remember their positions for a second. The Gormans say whatever was left unsold of Brian's collection that was in that store spreadsheet was in Salem store the night of November 14th. Then you have corporate side. They say whatever was left that night was maybe $2,000 to $5,000 of Legos. The rest was either stolen by thieves, the Gormans, or held off site. It was not in that store. And on both sides, there's a lot to lose here, right? You've got the Gormans, who basically have been insinuated to have been stealing. And for Josh and Brandon, too, the new franchise owners, there's a lot on the line. I reached out to Josh, and he told me, I think her pictures would only show a few sets and minifigs. I replied, so if I can prove that the Lego sets were in the store, that will prove Brandon was lying? Josh replies, if it shows something different, then yes, I will eat my words. So the stakes have been established. And let's see the evidence, starting with Matt McNeff. First, he showed me the video, October 24th, 2024.
Okay, McNeff. I'm terrible with remembering people's names.
For a baseline of how the store looked.
So this is the Salem Kaiser location, is that correct?
Salem Kaiser location, yes.
So is it fair to say I'm seeing quite a few Legos here? I mean, I'm seeing a store of Legos. You'd agree?
There's a good amount of Lego on hand. This isn't what I would say is a well-stocked Bricks and Minifigs.
Yeah, there's a lot of shelves that look empty in here.
But it's not terrible. It's I would say a little below average as far as overall stock. So now let's go to November 14th. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so November 14th, when Brandon was in there helping.
Wait, this is the day. This is like the big day.
This is the day.
Hold on, I gotta prep myself emotionally for this.
Okay.
This is a big deal. This is a big. This is D-Day. This is the big moment.
Coffee does this thing where he makes people feel comfortable, and then when he gets all the facts, he does like an interview again, and then he drops a bomb, and he's like, "No, this is what really happened." And he doesn't hold back. That's what I love, because I love
As Brandon takes over the store. We don't know where the Legos are after this moment.
We don't know where the Legos are after this moment.
This guy already
and I want to point out again
happy.
that we've had this for a while. We haven't put. This is the first time we've shown this publicly. We've been waiting for our attorneys to give us the approval to say, hey, this is okay now to share in this capacity. So, this.
Wait. His brother said multiple times that, oh, Brian, come by and we'll give you sets that may not even be yours, and we got 3 different spreadsheets and we don't know which one is yours, and all this other nonsense. Now they're talking about, oh, we got another.
We'll go through these pictures. This is what Josh saw, or not Josh, sorry, Brandon saw. He took pictures of everything in the store, all the inventory in the store.
It's pretty bad when you got the guy, okay, what is he, I don't know, I forget what title he's got, but he's the brother of the CEO. Now he's like, he doesn't even know who was in the store at the time when they're like, this is what he saw, okay?
This is what the shelves looked like.
It's all empty.
Compared to what you just saw a moment ago.
Wait.
Okay, so I'm seeing a lot.
Wait. I don't believe it.
Less.
I don't
Just to state the obvious. Go back a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't
I'm
believe
seeing like way less.
So yeah, the pictures I was being shown on November 14th, those shelves looked emptier than they did on the day of October 24th. But to be fair to the Gormans, they addressed the empty shelves themselves.
As we get to the very end of this video in particular, right here, you'll see that empty space right here. So this is the retired and certified set section that we have to keep separate from the new in box current sets being sold by Lego. All those empty spaces up there were the sets that we had on display during the day from Brian's collection that every night when the store closed, we pulled off and put back into the safe and then put back out in the morning.
So when they say, see, there's empty space on the shelves, yeah, because we put them in safes at night to keep them safe.
Because we have giant windows.
Yeah, it's an explanation that kind of makes sense.
See, they actually answer the question. The other two are like, well, we don't know, or this is all we saw, or come on.
In the history of burglary. Now, of course, this is something I had to ask the McNeffs about.
Is this a case of, did y'all see Star Wars sets in the back? Did y'all not see the Star Wars sets in the back? Not in the back, but specifically in a safe. Like there were a bunch of Star Wars sets in a safe. Did Brandon see those? Has there been talk of those? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. My understanding is that he took pictures of everything, and all those photos I showed you of the Star Wars were all the photos, or was literally all the Star Wars inventory in the store.
Yeah, the McNeffs say all of the photos should be with Brandon of all the Star Wars items.
So he's saying that was everything that they had in the store, period? Is that what he's saying? Come on.
And to be fair to them, they showed me a lot more pictures and even showed me a spreadsheet of all the Star Wars sets in the store the night Brandon took it over. And it valued to about like $5,000 to $10,000 or so. But then I had to ask.
Oh, sorry, here's another kind of set.
Okay.
Do you think y'all have all of these?
Very likely.
Okay.
Again, I'd be surprised if we didn't.
But then I couldn't help myself. I started to bring up some of Crystal's photos to see if they matched up.
I bet you they don't.
Have you seen this before?
Not that I recall.
So, do you see that?
Yep.
So do you see it's in like some kind of like a safe thing? I don't know if you can see the sides there.
Looks like a bookshelf to me, but sure.
Okay, sure, yeah. So I think the important thing is making sure that all of these are in the inventory for Mansell.
A certain kind of safe. They literally look like a bookshelf, but you can tell it's a safe. There's metal. It looks like it's pretty heavy duty. It's not like a wood cabinet or anything like that.
Sure, that's cool.
75041.
Yep.
Yep, we got that one.
75169.
169 I'm not seeing, so there may be... Okay, so there's one that is not on our list.
Let's try this.
Coffee.
10240.
Okay, nope, not seeing that one either.
What about 9493?
3. I don't see that one either. So maybe those were locked at the time, and Brandon did not get those pictures.
All right, that's a problem because the Gormans had over 200 photos of this store. I definitely knew looking at these photos, there's a lot more Legos in the Gormans photos by quite a lot that Brandon's photos just didn't show.
Not only
but corporate didn't really see it that way.
Not only that, when that guy went through and he filmed everything, you seen in the beginning, everything was fuzzy. It was like he was using 480p or something. He was going by so fast. I think that was on purpose because then later on, if anybody was like, well, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine, they'd be like, well, do you see it in the photos? Can't see shit in those photos. They're all blurry.
Still, in the grand scheme of things, we're not talking, again, 10 times the amount of sets here.
I don't know. I haven't shown all the photos yet. I don't know exactly how much.
Holy shit.
If there's a calculable figure that we can look at and say, great, this is what was there, I promise you it's not $100,000 worth of Lego. And so where's the rest of it? He got me.
No, here's the thing. You're a major company, and you've lost so much money just in bad PR. These two idiots are running their company into the ground. The best thing they could do is just say, listen, Brian, here's $200,000, and here's another $100,000 on top of it. Sorry. There you go. Boom. Just get it out of the way. You know how easy that would be for them to do instead of dragging this out. That's why I'm thinking these guys have done this before. Because something's not adding up here. It's not. It seems bogus.
Maybe I'm a little too in my head about this U-Haul story. You don't think it could have been some U-Haul thing? There's no way.
Oh, yeah. Have we talked about the U-Haul yet? We got to talk about the U-Haul for a second. This is another one of those things that was like really disputed between the two parties. Was this
fucking U-Haul? Here we go.
U-Haul that supposedly was driven up to the store the night of the takeover.
So when Brandon came to the store that night, he was driving a U-Haul truck.
Now, in typical fashion, this was immediately disputed.
Brandon showed up to the Salem store in a rental car. When he came to get the keys from Crystal, he was there in a rental car, not in a U-Haul.
It wasn't until after he told me he was taking the keys and locking me out that I really kind of paid attention to the fact that he had a large, not the small, the large U-Haul truck.
So yeah, I just kept hearing about this U-Haul truck.
They've done this before.
Why is it significant, U-Haul or not?
Just like that pawn shop. Just like it. They had franchise pawn shops, and they would move one item to another store. Because after a certain amount of time, if you don't come get it, they would sell it as fast as possible. Certain items they just shove out the door. Even if a person did come back, they'd be like, yeah, that's the reason why they got investigated. This is what it sounds like.
A U-Haul truck can fit a lot of Legos, but the big reason it mattered to me was because I was actually called by an ex-employee of the Bricks and Minifigs store in Eugene, Oregon. Remember, that's the one that Brandon and Josh owned.
Here
and
we
he told
go.
me something very interesting.
I'm a former employee, started in 2024, and I was working under the old manager, Brian, and he sold the store to Brandon Best and Josh.
What store was this? Bricks and Minifigs where? Okay, now what did you see that made you want to talk to me?
I saw Reckless Ben's YouTube video about the Salem store closing down because when I was talking to my co-workers about the situation about Salem, and we were told through other employees that it was just a bad area to work in. It was like haunted, if you will, is what was going around. But after seeing the video of Reckless Ben, he exposed them, and it makes a lot more sense with what we dealt with Brandon and Josh. Like, oh, Crystal stole Lego sets and bolted out of the country.
Who says that?
Brandon Best told us.
I have a feeling because we already saw him lie to the cops when Reckless Ben brought the court papers, and he's like, fake! Those are fake! And then even afterward, he's like, oh, what an idiot. Playing it off. Yo, the cop already served you. Technically, you're served. This is crazy. That guy, we already know he's a liar.
When he was jumping off all the Lego sets to us that night. And used, like, there was a bunch of used Lego sets. Sets that were like saran wrap. They had Star Wars City. They had just a lot of stuff. It was like in a medium-sized U.
The fuck is Star Wars City? Does he mean Cloud City? Because I know that's worth a lot of money.
Truck.
Wait, they brought a U-Haul truck.
Yeah, from Salem to Eugene.
And to Eugene, and it had a bunch of Star Wars sets on it?
Yeah, Star Wars sets, like everything. You have a bunch of used stuff too.
Wait, when? And was this when they took over the store from Crystal?
I believe so, yes. Yes, because he said that Crystal stole Legos and left the country.
While he has a U-Haul of Legos?
Yeah.
Interesting. Weird.
This reminds me of Crypto Zoo. The whole thing with Crypto Zoo. When Logan Paul was like, handmade art and all that shit. And then that other guy called up Coffee. He's like, you can say that, yeah, I did some fucked up shit, but also you can say that Logan didn't pay me and yada yada. But this is what it reminds me of.
We're just going to hold on to this stuff until corporate tells us where we have to distribute it. And we're like, oh.
Just like a pawn shop.
We can take it because we're kind of struggling with, the product we put on the shelves.
Oh my gosh. We really got to find out. Was there a U-Haul that night or not? Because everybody's disagreeing about it. This Eugene, Oregon guy says, oh yeah, a U-Haul showed up with Star Wars sets in it.
I wouldn't doubt
Brandon was talking about the Salem store. You've got Matt McNeff saying there was no U-Haul there. It was a rental car. You've got Crystal saying, yeah, I thought it was really weird. There was a U-Haul truck there. So I told the McNeff, I really got to find out what the truth is here.
If you know anything about it, let me know, because that's just something I heard.
I do, and it has nothing to do with the Salem store. Well, at least not the Salem store in the way that it is there. Brandon showed up to the Salem store in a rental car.
Wait. What did that guy just say? Let's hear this again.
I do, and it has nothing to do with the Salem store. Well, at least not the Salem store in the way that it is there.
It has nothing to do with the Salem store. No, it does, but not in the way that it has to do with the Salem. What the fuck are you? One more time. This guy, the way he worded that.
It's not the Salem store in the way that it is there. Brandon showed up to.
Not. It's like a tongue twister that makes no sense. All right, I'm not doing it again.
The Salem store in a rental car. When he came to get the keys from Crystal, he was there in a rental car, not in a U-Haul.
So when there was the handoff, there wasn't a U-Haul, it was a rental car.
Correct. He was there in a rental car.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What kind of rental car was it?
And I think any of the, like, if you were to look at the footage, the ring cameras, all that stuff, you won't see a U-Haul sitting anywhere in the parking lot.
So after hearing all of this, I realized, look, I just got to find the evidence. So I start sifting through these photos I have, right? I realize I have a parking lot photo. I check it. No U-Haul, just a red truck out there. I check another photo where you could see the window, but the problem is it's night outside, so you can't see. And so I'm looking at everything I can, and there's just nothing, you know? I have this alternate angle. I'm looking at that, and then, wait a minute.
There it is.
Zoom in on that photo. Bring up the brightness of this photo a little bit, and my gosh, there's a U-Haul in the parking lot.
Oh my God, these guys are idiots. Okay, if you're going to lie about something stupid, like, for instance, somebody wants to bring you to court and you're like, oh, those are fake. And then you got this guy lying about this U-Haul shit, saying he came there in a rental car. What was the rental car? Was it a U-Haul rental or was it a rental car, like an actual car? Because that technically that could be considered a rental car, but you know, obviously it's not a car.
Right outside of the store the night of November 14th, 2024. This is something that Matt said he had seen footage of, and it couldn't be true.
And again, I believe I have seen footage from that night that shows clearly out into the parking lot.
Coffee looks like he's so done with this shit already. That look on his face says it all. He's just like, oh God, he's fucking... And we haven't even heard all the story yet, so I'm not going
to...
After seeing this, I said, I really have to make a call. And that's when the story changed.
So last night, I talked with Matt McNeff. I brought up this question of the U-Haul. He told me emphatically there was no U-Haul. Y'all came to me this morning. You said, hey, we looked into it. There actually was a U-Haul there that night. Can you clear up what that's about?
So there's actually two different things that are going on here, just to help you understand.
This guy. Him and his brother both have this thing that they do where they don't answer questions. A yes or no question becomes this big, long-winded, the huffing and puffing and blah, 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 blah. What's going on? It's really not what's going on. This is what's happening, but it's not really what's happening. You know, talking in circles and then rambling.
And I don't know if you want this particularly not on the record, but we do know of a disgruntled former employee that worked at another location, that back on the 24th of October, there was a U-Haul that went to a storage unit in Salem for another previous franchisee, you know, like for a different situation that we had just, you know, gone through some things, and he had a previously, you know, like, hey, I have some inventory that I didn't turn over that I was supposed to.
The fuck is this guy even, what is he going on about? If this doesn't have anything to do with this store, or this story, I should say, then why even talk about it? Oh, it's a former disgruntled employee that took merchandise and then brought it back.
On the 24th of October, there was a U-Haul that went to a storage unit in Salem for another previous franchisee, you know, like for a different situation that we had just, you know, gone through some things, and he had a previously, you know, like, hey, I have some inventory that I didn't turn over that I was supposed to. It's at this storage location.
What is this guy talking about?
You guys can come pick it up. And so Brandon was sent on that day to pick up with a U-Haul inventory that then he moved down.
On the same day?
That was October 24th.
So when we're talking about this ex-employee, you're saying they are conflating the October 24th event of the U-Haul coming up to Eugene with Legos with sometime after November 14th, after the store takeover. Is that correct? Am I understanding that?
You can see him. You can see it on his face.
Yes.
This is now...
You can see it on his... I'm going to go back. Now, check out his face. When Coffee's like, is that what you're saying? He's like, doesn't even look into the camera or nothing. Looking down, looking around, and then Coffee's like, is that what you're talking about? Yes.
Ex-employee.
Here.
You're saying
right
they
here.
are conflating the October 24th event of the U-Haul coming up to Eugene with Legos with
no way
sometime after November 14th, after the store takeover.
Look at him.
Is that correct? Am I
face.
understanding that?
He can't even look at the camera. He's just like,
yes.
Oh, yes.
So this is now kind of a strange story. Corporate is saying there was a U-Haul at the Eugene store dropping off Lego, but that was from a different night, different collection. The CEO says Brandon showed up to Salem on October 24th for his secret shopper job with Crystal. And separately, he also was getting a different collection of Legos that also included Star Wars. And that's what he brought to the Eugene store, and the former employee is remembering. Then, weeks later, on November 14th, Brandon supposedly shows up again with a U-Haul, but the reason isn't for hauling Legos.
Brandon flew in to Eugene that night. At midnight. So on the flew from Utah on the 13th, but landed in Oregon on like midnight of the 14th.
Did he just say flew into Utah but landed in Oregon? Are you fucking kidding me? This guy's making a bullshit. Let's listen to that again.
Brandon flew in to Eugene that night. At midnight. So on the flew from Utah on the 13th, but landed in Oregon on like midnight of the 14th.
My bad, because he was rambling before that. Flew from and then landed. Okay.
Went and got a rental truck, and then went and stayed at a trailer that had previously been moved up there in anticipation, meaning a camper trailer, in anticipation of the potential hostile takeover previously.
Is that the reason he had a U-Haul, was for this camper, or what's going on with the?
Yes. So then what happens is,
why would you get a U-Haul for a camper, and why would you fly all the way from Utah to Oregon to get a camper? They rent a U-Haul truck for a camper. You could rent a pickup truck or something like that. You don't need a big ass box truck for a fucking camp. Well, it depends on how big the camper is, but you could. These fucking people. Some bullshit.
He takes his rental vehicle truck, and he tries to connect the trailer, the camping trailer, to that truck, and it's not rated for that particular weight. And he realized, oh crap. He called around and found that U-Haul had a rating for one of their box trucks, and so he grabbed that, went and got it at 10 a.m. on the 14th.
Speaking of went and grabbed it, when did they grab this story to come up with? Because this sounds like a bunch of horse shit.
And
should have got a cattle
he then went
truck.
and hooked that trailer up to the camping trailer to a U-Haul, drove that trailer down to another location where he could set up the camping trailer in Salem, dropped off the camper trailer, and then he arrived.
Dude, he cut that, so he must have been rambling for a while, because this guy is just going off the rails about a U-Haul camper that flew out there that couldn't get the weight limit rating, and he had to do this and then that.
In a U-Haul to the Salem store, and then went in, said hi to Crystal, and then as she was leaving, the door shuts, and
he cut it a bunch of times. Sorry about the cuts, but the full explanation is long. Dude, he could have just said he had to get a U-Haul because the weight rating was off from the truck that he rented originally, right? But he didn't, because usually when people come up with these big elaborate stories that make no sense, they have details that make no sense, and they just go on and on and on. If they're trying to make it up on the fly, like this guy's, it looks like he's trying so hard to come up with this story. Like, I'm not buying it. You tell me what you think.
Calls the locksmith. Takes him a while to finish up the changing of the locks. Brandon at this point is pretty exhausted. So, and he has an hour drive back to Eugene to drop off the rental truck.
Because he got the rental truck for a camper. So he's going to drop off the rental truck and leave the camper there? Now, another thing, too, is this guy's giving me a fucking headache, because I can't imagine what Coffee went through when he was listening to this guy.
So he drops it off at, midnight or 1 o'clock, something like that, grabs the rental truck, and then heads back up.
He's tired, and then he grabs the rental truck again. And remember, the truck that he said wasn't rated for it, so he had to get a U-Haul. This makes no sense, because now he's talking about, now he's got a truck.
The camper trailer in Salem, and then, it probably gets in at around 2 or 3 in the morning, spends a couple of...
So he's saying he left the trailer in one spot, brought the U-Haul all the way back. But here's the thing. He already said that it wasn't rated for the weight. So now he's got a truck, and he's going to go back to the trailer, and then what is he going to do? Because he's got the trailer still.
That's a little bit of sleep before he has to head back to the store at 9 a.m. before the other employees get there. The timeline that is trying to be portrayed just makes absolutely zero sense.
Okay, so I asked, obviously, for documentation of all of this from Brandon, and here's what I got. First, the U-Haul contract on November 14th. This checks out what we already know. Then I got sent a photo, the last one Brandon took in the Salem store, dated 9:44 p.m., where you can see what looks like the inside of a bird cage that the Gormans had. I was sent a photo Brandon took of the mileage in the U-Haul as he dropped it back off at the rental place on November 15th, 12:41 a.m. Now, the time gap there is about 3 hours between the last photo in Salem to dropping the U-Haul off, which is a bit of a problem for our timeline.
Yeah, it took like 4 hours. I mean, I worked till like 11 o'clock, and I'm like, I gotta get up early for, my other job.
You moved 4 hours of Legos out of this truck.
Yeah.
All right, so as weird as this U-Haul thing is, the timeline just doesn't fit, to be honest. But still, even if this is true, it's pretty weird. And it's one of the most bizarre stories I've ever heard, to have a U-Haul thing back to back. One of the times you're picking up Legos, the other time you're not, you're taking a camper. This time, let's take the photographs that we have and reconstruct what was in the night on November 14th. Remember, that's the moment we lost the Lego. And this time, we're going to combine it with two more things. First, from corporate.
Oh yeah, that's another thing too, because remember Ben got the list of all the shit that Brian had from those YouTubers, and it was like 12 pages. And then corporate's got like 1 page, and it was only like $2,000 worth, $5,000, whatever. On the same day, he's got this U-Haul driving all over the place, right? And then he's tired and yada yada. It sounds like a bunch of bullshit.
The point of sale records from the Salem store from 2023 to 2024. And secondly, from Crystal Gorman, I got her internal records of Brian's inventory of what was sold or not in order to pay him and keep track of prices. At the beginning of this story, you saw the social post saying this collection was worth $200,000. That's what everyone knows this story as, the $200,000 Lego collection. That post was entirely wrong. In Crystal Gorman's inventory, which has a high and low estimate value of these various Lego items, the real estimated value is about $107,000.
Is that the store, what they think they're going to make, or what they were going to pay Brian? Because I know people that had coins, they went to the store and they got 60% of what each coin was worth. Let's just say $200,000 worth of silver, gold coins, right? The store will make that 200, little over with sales tax, all that crap. But the people will get 60%, 50% of that full amount. So was the $100,000 how much Brian would have made and the store would have made about $200,000? That's what I assumed.
They give high estimates and low estimates, but that's right there in the middle. And for simplicity, I'll just be using averages and estimates here, but understand that, these numbers are not firm, given that they're unsold Legos.
Yeah, because collectibles go up and down. Like, for instance, if I was to sell collectibles myself on like eBay, I could get around the full amount. Let's say this is a collectible, right? It's a die. It's not worth shit. Let's say it's worth $1,000 and I had 50,000 of these, right? And I sold them for $1,000 or close to $1,000, like 900 a piece with bids or whatever, even a little bit more. And then the people buy them for close to what they're worth on the market. It's like what the store would do, even with a consignment. They're only going to pay you a certain amount because they need to make their money back, because this is a brick and mortar. They got to pay for electricity. You got to pay for the employees, the utilities, the building, the rental, all that shit.
But the point is, it's worth nowhere near $200,000. And Reckless Ben, the one who made the original video covering this, said that surprised him.
Yeah, this entire time, literally every single person's been telling me.
Is that a fake background?
There were $200,000. Like, that's how much, you could sell all these sets for.
My original assessment of about $200,000 was going up to his father's house and looking in 3 different rooms with all the sets. It was before I'd actually gone through and had set numbers and done an actual.
Yeah, she probably could have made close to that selling them to the store all together, and Brian would have probably made like half of what she was thinking.
Valuation. I looked at it and went based on as things progressed and as I started to delve more into the actual inventory and evaluating it, that number changed. But we put out the press release well in advance of the event itself, so that press release went out before I had those full numbers. So we went, this is a nice even number that will grab attention and bring people into the store. True. So we went with that.
The spreadsheet says about from between 85,000 to 120 something thousand, in the midpoint about 107 or something like that of what was inventory. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah.
So this has been a really big point of misinformation.
Stores price gouge the shit out of people, and then people that are selling things to the store, they'll get highway robbery because say something's worth $1,000, you bring it to the store, they'll be like, I'll give you $350, $450, something like that on the high end. And then if you sell it because you need the money, and then they'll turn around and sell it for $1,000 to get their money back, and then some.
If we're ever going to find the missing Lego, we need to start with the right number. It's about $107,000. Now, between 2023 and 2024, the Gormans record sales of about $24,000 of Brian's collection in their inventory tracking list. And of those sales, Brian was entitled to about 65 to 70% of it. He was paid $17,000, which roughly tracks with that. Which means on November 14th, the big night, the remaining amount of Brian's collection that should have been in there is about $82,000.
That's still a lot of Legos.
It doesn't take a genius to realize this is a very different number than corporate provided, who found only $2,000 to $5,000 of it linked to Brian. And later they said they only found $13,000 to $15,000 in total Lego Star Wars.
So the amount that they're saying that they had, we already had a total of like 13,000 altogether in the whole store. So that can't be right.
Talking maybe $11,000 to $15,000 total Star Wars, and that's all Star Wars inventory in the whole store.
So that's corporate side of the story, but I didn't want to take their word for it. So I went through Crystal's photos myself, which she shared with me, and hired people to go through and hand tag the Star Wars Legos that were in these photos. We looked through over 200 plus photos, multiple videos, and matched what we saw with Brian's collection.
Nice.
In
Very
the end,
thorough.
I ended up with about $21,000 of Legos, matching Brian's collection.
So again, Coffee's gonna be very thorough. He's not gonna let them bullshit him.
Be in the store on the night of November 14th. Now, to state the obvious, that's about 3 to 5 times what corporate estimated, at least on their press release. Now, yes, there are inherent errors in these estimates. Maybe we picked up some Lego that matched Brian's collection, but wasn't Brian's. But even though this is a bigger number than corporate said, I have to admit, even with pretty generous assumptions being made, there's still a huge gap of about $61,000 here that I just couldn't find. But then I learned Brian had made a special side deal with M&R Productions, who had recently purchased some Legos from him. And this is where it starts to get messy. So these are the pictures that M&R Productions sent me, looking at the Lego that Brian sold him. And it's interesting because of an early inventory list, which had a column called Location that Crystal used. And it listed a lot of the Star Wars items as being located in what they called storage. Now, previously, I was told that all of the stuff in storage was put back in the store, but there's a bunch that's on this list that I can't find in the store that seem to appear in these pictures.
So now we have Legos that are just like, poof, they're here, poof, they're gone. Dude, that's a lot of Legos, too. You figure even if they're on the low end and you're like, it's about 81,000 worth of Legos, that's a lot.
Now, I've been assured, by the way, that most of these Legos were not part of the inventory spreadsheet. They were never given to Bricks Minifigs. This is a separate part of the collection.
Maybe the whole collection was worth closer to 200 grand, but the other person bought some of them, but Bricks and Minifigs had like 107, 120,000 or whatever the fuck it was worth to begin with.
100% of the items that match the Brian collection inventory just so happen to be listed with a location of storage. So this starts to make things incredibly fuzzy, and I'm inclined to believe that a lot of these are part of that same inventory list. Now, if we take that value of the side deal, that's about $10,000 to $20,000 that's not actually missing. I realized maybe we could find some of this missing Lego there too. So this is from the Salem internal store records. I guess this is what is entered when someone does a sale, and it's everything from September 2023 to November 2024 of Star Wars anything. If you want to, please support us on Patreon. That's how this show gets made. But anyways, according to those records, about $51,000 in sales went through during this time period in a way that matched Brian Mansell's collection.
Oh, so he's saying after the fact, right? So the one guy bought some Bricks and Minifigs, then the U-Haul debacle, and then there's a bunch of sets that matched after the fact. This is
a
really lot of information going on
Crystal's
here.
inventory list showed only $24,000 in sales for Brian, and Brian was only paid for that amount. I remembered back to a time when I spoke to Crystal, and I asked how much was sold prior to the takeover.
Which is something similar from what you told me, Crystal.
Yeah.
You told me, hey, it was about 50-something thousand. Brian was only paid 17,000.
Okay.
And it should have been about double that. And I'm just trying to make sense of that, given that everyone's accusing each other of theft right now. You understand?
Again, without seeing any of those records, without seeing those individual tickets, I can't answer that any better.
This is a problem. The math ain't math in here. 65 to 70% of 50,000 is almost double what we believe Brian was paid. It turns out a lot of these sales come from what Crystal's spreadsheet actually categorizes as layaways, meaning they were marked as having been sold.
So this is what I'm getting from this. Let's say I put $1,000 down on a bunch of layaways at this store, and another franchise owner comes and takes all the stuff, and he's like, I don't know shit about nothing. I don't know about consignment, layaway. I don't know nothing. This is all our stock. And maybe if they moved it to another store out from under me. Anyway, the point is, like, I wonder how many people have got finangled by these franchise stores.
There were a lot of these, worth about $20,000 in
That's a lot of layaway.
And that felt a little strange to me. I asked Josh Johnson, the incoming owner, and he
God.
responded, quote,
This guy.
they're worth 2 to 3 items on layaway when they took over.
2 to 3 items? That's more than 2 to 3 items.
On the inventory list, do you know about how many layaways
I
there
haven't
were?
gone through and done a count, but I know it was vastly more than 2 to 3.
It was about 98.
That makes sense.
So there were about $15,000 to $25,000 worth of sets on layaway.
$5 worth.
That's just the part that's surprising. That's the part that I can't get my head around.
Yeah.
Let me just be really honest. I don't believe there was that much layaway. I don't know how that's possible. How could there be that much layaway?
That's what I'm thinking. But here's also another thing I'm thinking. Did those people get their money or their items or either? Because think about it. If Brian didn't get paid and there was layaways and like one guy says, well, there was only like 2 or 3 items, there's a lot of people that lost money because they didn't get their items. They probably didn't get their money back either for the layaway. And that's a lot of fucking money for layaways, man, in a store.
I don't know. It's like I don't believe, because I was talking to some people about Bricks and Minifigs. They go, yeah, there's some layaway. I talked to people who were neutral on corporate side, but also people who were just normal Bricks and Minifigs people. They say there's not that much layaway. Help me understand why there's $20,000.
Don't tell me she pocketed this money.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely. If you talk to other Bricks and Minifigs locations, layaway is extremely rare. I think outside of
Then why did
Brian's collection, I
Okay,
don't.
good. I'm not crazy here. So then why was there so much layaway there?
No, absolutely not. Outside of Brian's collection, I think at the time we maybe had 2 used sets on layaway outside of his collection.
Okay.
It was not a common thing traditionally. I don't know that we'd ever done layaway before the collection came.
I have an idea why. Star Wars Legos had a thing where they would make 2,000 of one thing, 5,000, and never make them ever again. In the 90s, I think, like Lucas was really smart at coming up with different ideas for toys to make money off from. And I think you realize if you make, millions of one thing, you're not going to get as much money as if you only make a couple thousand of one thing. And they're
With
worth
Brian's
a lot
collection,
of money.
it was a little bit different because so much of this collection were one, new in box, all in one place, reasonably priced.
And they're hard to find.
harder to find items.
Yeah.
And so customers would come in and put, I'm going to guess probably half of those layaway items were not going to be sold to the person who took them on layaway. Because we had several that would put them on layaway.
Okay,
and
then where's the money? Where's the money then?
This was
Where's the
something
money?
like, you know, somebody would come in and want 10 different sets, but only be able to buy one. Can I put the rest of those on layaway so you don't sell them? I'll pay $10 to put these sets on layaway.
Oh,
Traditionally with layaway, we would ask for 10% down. They'd have 30 days to make their next payment, or
That's a lot
we'd
of money
refund
to
the
do that.
layaway amount and then put it back on the shelf. Because this collection was the collection it was, and I wanted to give these people the opportunity to get these sets, we were a lot more generous with how long and the amount of payments that people could make towards the layaway. We had several of them. I think one of the Ewok villages, we put on layaway 4 different times, and then it came off of layaway and back on.
But here's the thing. That's a lot of money to have on layaway. $24,905. Think about that number for a layaway.
On layaway and then off and then sold. So a lot of these would have gone on and off of layaway, and then just depending on the person who was putting it on layaway. That was completely unique to this collection.
So, look, I'll be honest, I don't trust Josh Johnson, but something is weird here.
Yeah.
So a lot of these are, see, look at this. It says POS final sale price, but it's listed as a layaway, but it's sold for $5.99.
Yeah.
Because it matches with the store sale price.
Okay.
So were they on layaway? Were they accidentally marked layaway on the spreadsheet?
Without seeing the actual sales ticket and seeing what items were sold together, we had several layaway items in which customers were putting multiple things on layaway, paying for most of one item, or they were buying 8 different things together and then putting all of them on layaway and making payments on multiple items at the same time. Our Ewok village was one of those cases. At some point he had, I think, 8 or 9 different items on layaway.
Why
So
would
they
you let
come
him
in
do
and
that
make
then?
a payment for a bulk payment. I've got 800 things on layaway. I'm gonna make $100 on my payment. One customer in particular would do that, and then when he'd gotten up high enough to pay for one set, we'd pull that set out, mark it as sold. So without seeing the actual tickets and my layaway records, I cannot answer a question any clearer than that.
I even found more than that in this POS data.
That's a lot to try to explain away, because, like, did these people get their money back?
$10,000 in sales that match Brian's collection that were not marked as sold under this inventory spreadsheet.
Things that were not found
Okay.
were explained by the POS system because they were found in the POS system as being sold. They weren't marked on the spreadsheet, and this is about $10,000 worth of Lego that basically were matched.
Take anything
Not
happening
found, not
from,
found, not found.
but I don't know without being able to see all of the records. There is a
seems fishy.
possibility that the consignments were ended when I wasn't at work, and I just didn't go through and pull them up. They didn't get put in the consignment ticket. I hadn't gone through those consignments in a couple of months. I hadn't gone through the inventory in the back room in a couple of months. It is entirely possible there were sales that were finished that I never clocked as being finished.
See, this is a lot of information that she can't even answer, and it seems like there's money that's been missing on the layaways, not to Brian, but to the people that were gonna buy this stuff. Did they get their money back? Is this lady full of shit? Did she take some of the money?
I don't know that without going through and actually seeing it.
But you're saying it's possible stuff was sold, not updated on this inventory list.
It's entirely possible that stuff did not get updated on my spreadsheet. I'm not going to sit here and claim it's not possible.
I know some people are jumping to conclusions here, but I must remind you that on the night of November 14th, 2024, Crystal Gorman was concerned about Brian getting paid or not getting paid.
He has not been paid his percentage yet, and if I don't have the tickets, I won't know how much I need to pay him.
Okay. So Crystal, ultimately, also that's a business thing and not necessarily yours. Brandon will take, because taking on the business, he takes on all that kind of side there.
So obviously, one could see that and say she was intending to reconcile with Brian.
Maybe, maybe not. I mean, this is so messy. There's so many different hands and people involved. The more people involved, the messier it gets. This is just like that pawn shop I was saying earlier on.
She hadn't gotten around to it. And of course, corporate will probably take a more cynical view of what she's doing by printing these receipts, regardless of whose side you're on. I think we can all agree there's a lot of weird stuff here on all sides, abnormal stuff. Sure, maybe you can chalk some of this up to bad record keeping between the U-Haul, the layaways, the $20,000 in Lego sets that corporate called $2,000 to $5,000 that was there that night, the off-book deals. But even if we can't fully know 100%, I think they tell a story of what actually happened to Brian's collection. In a way, multiple people, I think, are kind of right, kind of wrong. The Gormans were correct that more of that collection was there that night of the takeover than previously thought. But corporate also alleged that some of it was offsite, and that appears to be partly true, although some of that is disputed, and it looks like way more of the collection was sold and layawayed than Brian was paid for. And there's a lot less missing than many people think, especially if your starting number is $200,000. I estimated that there's only about $10,000 to $20,000 in Lego that isn't explained by one of these sources. This isn't to say Brian's been fully compensated. Much of this Brian wasn't paid for that I know of. So I estimate he's still out about $50,000 to $83,000 for Lego he wasn't compensated
See, that's
for.
a lot of money.
And I think honestly that's something that Bricks and Minifigs obviously should handle and make right. Regardless of what a franchisee does, the new one, the old one, the company behind it must stand behind their product, their service.
Yeah, because then other customers are going to look at this and be like, no, I'm not going to deal with this shit. Why would I buy anything or sell anything to them or do a consignment with a company that's just going to have somebody come in and say, oh, new franchise, and just take your shit? And did any of those people get their products that they had layaway or their money back?
I can't imagine a better example of a company doing the opposite.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Bricks and Minifigs has chosen to deflect and dodge responsibility at most opportunities and created a really awful customer experience that has snowballed.
Now, here's the thing. I have a feeling, because there's a little bit more, that this is going to get a lot worse on the CEO of Bricks and Minifigs and his brother, because there's a lot of math that ain't math in here.
But instead of taking accountability
Especially
for that, they've
U-Haul
taken an aggressive legal strategy, which I told them personally was a horrible idea.
Yeah.
As of writing this, Brian Mansell is being sued for $1.3 million as part of a legal campaign against him and Reckless Ben and any of the associates. Remember, Brian is the same guy who lost all these Legos at Bricks and Minifigs store. And I told the CEO and COO that's ridiculous and they should drop this. Look, mistakes have been made by plenty of people here, but there's a lot more people who have inflicted self-owns, the likes of which we've rarely seen, by just choosing the worst possible path at every fork in the road. No pun intended. But the best path to making things
American
right,
fork,
in my
please.
view, is by just making Brian whole and moving on.
Yeah, because they want to punish Ben and they want to punish Brian. They want to punish everybody who's involved because they think, whatever they think. I don't even know what they think at this point in time. It doesn't make any sense to me. You're a big ass business. You need to get public favor back. What you do is you say, okay, it was $200,000. That's what you think you're owed. Just pay it to them. You guys are worth hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever the fuck it is. I think it's 400 million or something like that. Just pay the 200 grand and be done with it.
You are a Lego store at the end of the day. You are supposed to be about fun, not about a rerun of Suits. That's my investigation. Those are my closing thoughts. And I knew I wanted to approach everyone involved in this whole story with my results and see what they thought to close things out. Does all that make sense to you?
This is going to be good. This is going to be the best part.
Everyone in this story and saying, hey,
the thing
are
that
any of
doesn't
these
make
numbers blowing your mind, or is any of this crazy to you?
No, it's not crazy. But what's crazy to me, again, like all the photo evidence that both sides have points to there being, sure, $20,000 worth of Lego in this of Star Wars Lego in the store that night, right? I don't know, man. I'm just like, can people understand maybe why there was some confusion and why there was some hesitation when somebody comes in and says, hey,
full of shit.
You owe me $60,000 worth of product and Lego, and we go, we don't even know who you are. Like, yeah, Crystal
That's so
mentioned
full of
something about
shit.
consignment on her way out the door. And we go, sure, we'll get that figured out. But then the guy just walks in and demands $60,000 worth of Lego.
I doubt he just came in and said, "Go, give me all this." He went in there with receipts. He had paperwork. I mean, he even showed it. He even talked about it. I mean, they showed all the video evidence that he had and photos. I'm not taking Brian's side. I'm just saying that's what it looked like from those videos. And then Reckless Ben didn't get involved until probably, I don't know how much longer. I couldn't tell by the timestamps. But this company really fucked up. They're digging themselves a hole in the ground. They really are. They should just
like
pay.
What am I supposed to do other than say, cool, show me, can you show me the proof?
The problem is there's so much of a dispute on the timeline, and this is what's going to make this story so hard to tell, is like, they say, you guys are unreasonable. They tried and eventually they gave up, but they say they tried and they were basically met with like unreasonable requests, things like that. So
verification, documentation, is that unreasonable, do you think?
Look at this guy's, he looks like he's
well, I think they would say they provided the
the guy looks like he's so full of shit.
documentation, and you guys say you need more documentation. That's the kind of
right. A spread, like, I understand a spreadsheet and a contract are a good start.
Yeah.
A contract and a spreadsheet is a good start. It's the whole fucking story. You go there and you're like, hey, I had a contract with your franchise. You're in charge of these franchises. Yo, where's my product or where's my money? Just because if you took it, you owe me, right? It says on the contract, Jesus, it was.
Yeah, but we never got that. That was never sent to us at corporate, by the way.
Y'all don't have y'all do have the spreadsheet though, yeah? Y'all have the spreadsheet.
That was shared online, but months after we asked for it.
It says it's. I'm so confused. It says I'm on the file right now. It says storage used, owned by BAM Franchising Inc. Owner Salem.or bricksandminifigs.com.
What are you looking at?
It says owner Salem.or at bricksandminifigs.com. That's you guys. It says owned by BAM Franchising Inc. It says created September 6, 2024. And when I look at it, this is the Mansell list, I believe.
So this would have been created under we.
He's looking at their own list and telling them what is on there, and they're like, "What are you looking at?" He's like, "The list is right here," and he's like stuttering, like, "Wow."
We have the.
Y'all definitely have this. Y'all have access to this.
Well, I had no idea. Like, so if this is the first
right, he's in charge. He's a CEO, and he's saying he has no idea what they have, even though Coffee's showing it.
Right, anybody has shown me that a spreadsheet was created using like Bricks and Minifigs Salem, and all of this stuff was archived. This is the first I've seen that this spreadsheet was created.
This guy is so full of shit. You can tell. This guy right here, he's so full of shit. Just watch his face. But he is so full.
This is the Mansell list, I believe.
So this would have been created under we have the.
Y'all definitely have this. Y'all have access to this.
Well, I had no idea. Like, so if this is the first that anybody has shown me that a spreadsheet was created using like Bricks and Minifigs Salem, and all of this stuff was
This guy, he's stuttering. He doesn't know what to say. He's like,
archived. This is the first I've seen that this spreadsheet was created by Crystal, and we don't know how accurate it is, how up to date it.
Part of your fucking business. It's a franchise. It's part of your business.
We don't know a lot of those types of things, and understand. I appreciate you sharing this with us because we had no idea. Again, you don't know what you don't know, and you can't we don't know everything, and we don't go looking in every nook and cranny everywhere.
It's probably in their own freaking
We just don't know some of those things. So if that's
Inventory
there,
list.
we can now have our team go look for that.
They're going to have to make a judgment call and say, who's telling the truth? The people who were taking all the pictures and say, and we couldn't take pictures of everything the night of, but we're being honest consistently, and the people who are saying, there was $5,000 there. Really? We've got the evidence, and yes, there's a discrepancy. We acknowledge we did not take pictures of everything, but does that mean that the discrepancy is, oh, and therefore
It's
these
possible.
missing,
It's possible this woman had a little bit of side hustle of her own. Just saying, I don't know. I don't know who these people are, but the way she was looking, and when her husband's was like about 200,000, she's like, take that out. Take that out. Of course, Coffee's not going to take that out because it doesn't look good on her for
whatever
saying
that would be, 5%, is some magical other place. Was sitting there in the store and we didn't get pictures of it. Simple explanation.
If I messed up on my record keeping, I will take accountability for that. It's possible. If my staff didn't draw attention that consignments had left out, so I'd move them to the thing. Any of that, I will take accountability to that. I am more than willing to do that. I need BAM to show me those tickets. I will sit down with Brian and talk this over and figure out what we missed and where it was missed and how it was missed and make that right with him.
I mean, that's new information no one's ever found out, so that's like awesome. They're gonna lose hundreds of millions of dollars because of their own wrongdoing. They're literally gonna destroy their entire company because they're this stubborn over maybe $20,000 worth of Lego.
Sure, I'll be keeping you in the loop with what
Nice. I'm excited. This was good work. My other final thoughts is, dude, you solved it, dude. That's awesome.
As of making of this video, Brandon Best, Josh Johnson, no longer working for... No, but they are. They have another store. Maybe they got kicked out of that store too because they had that other store. Anyway, the point is, these guys are dirtbags. The two brothers, the CEO and the other idiot, they're so full of shit. And you could tell that, yeah, they have a gag order. The Gormans are suing. Yeah, because the Gormans, the woman suing, for around $250,000. All right. Closing thoughts. My closing thoughts are this. If you like this, please like, comment, subscribe. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.